This was the biggest earthquake to hit this region in decades, and just to put it in perspective a little, this was bigger than the 1989 Loma Prieta quake that collapsed part of the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. A lot bigger than the 1994 Northridge quake that caused so much damage in Los Angeles. A lot of people in these parts say they have never felt anything so strong. The quake was so powerful, people felt it more than 300 miles away in Las Vegas.
That was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
The most severe damage is south of the border. Mexicali, Mexico is just 19 miles from the epicenter.
We were just looking around and everything was just falling off the shelves. Everything was on the ground. People were screaming.
In Tijuana, people didn't feel safe inside. Outside, power lines were down, roadways cracked. We met this woman at the California border. She had just crossed over, bringing supplies to her family.
We took some water and food for them because there's no store open, everything's closed, no water, no electricity.
Buildings here in Calexico, the hardest hit area in the U.S., were guarded by law enforcement officers after the quake. Police say many of the damaged buildings were built in the 1930s and 40s and never retrofitted to withstand a strong quake. The quake and its aftershocks rippled as far north as the Bay Area.
It's probably felt by at least 20 million people at this point.
Minor property damage has been reported in Southern California. Not much more serious than water spilt from the pool, really. For many, it was just a startling disruption of Easter dinner. But in El Centro, California, near the border of both states, a liquor store owner lost nearly half his inventory.
It was a bad earthquake. It shook violently. I've never seen anything like this before.
And in San Diego, a student playing guitar got way too much reverb for comfort. And just look at what this earthquake did to this grocery store here. Half the goods are simply on the floor at this point. The hotel that we checked into last night, the mini bar and the TV set were on the floor. All of the lamps were broken. This earthquake, it's going to take a little while to assess the damage, but the miracle seems to be so far that the damage wasn't a whole lot worse. Elizabeth?
All right, thanks so much. Lots of people still without power, however, and the earthquake was felt well up the coast of California. Mike Von Fremd is in Los Angeles this morning with more on that. Mike?
Good morning, Elizabeth. This is not a time to breathe easy. The message point blank: if you felt the first earthquake, expect to feel another. Geological experts say the first quake was so powerful that people on both sides of the border now have an increased chance of yet another one in the next few days. From San Diego to Los Angeles, all the way to Phoenix, we have pools sloshing, chandeliers shaking, windows shattering, and stock grocery stores spilling. Now, the fact that most of us here felt a rolling motion is fortunate. When you're directly on top of one, it's more of a sharp jerk, and damage from those can be catastrophic. Elizabeth?
All right, Mike Von Fremd in Los Angeles, thanks so much. And the earthquake and the aftershocks were felt over thousands of square miles in two countries. An estimated 20 million people felt it. Sam Champion has it all mapped out for us this morning. Good morning, Sam.
Elizabeth, yeah, good morning. Serious situation. We had a long talk with the USGS. This is our third, by the way, major quake in less than 3 months, at least two of them affecting the Pacific plate. This one a 7.2 just south of the border of Mexico. If you want to find the fault responsible for it, we look toward the Laguna Salada fault, which, by the way, is parallel to, but not necessarily connected to, the series of faults that make the San Andreas. And the San Andreas is the line that runs all the way through California that gets everyone nervous when they start to talk about quakes. Is there more? Will there be more? There have already been about 300 aftershocks if you look around the 3 measurement. Less than that, they've been thousands. The USGS experts we talked to said that if you're going to get a 6 or above, it's probably within the next couple of days, and it's likely in that area. But again, pointing out that this was so far away from the major population centers, it was very good news. So we'll watch this very carefully. Again, not connected to the San Andreas, but certainly running parallel to that area. And we'll have a lot more as we are able to get in there and measure more of the damage to that series of faults.